Hey guys, what's up? It's Pixelade here and welcome back to another Sims 4 discussion video. I am here, can you guess? Yet once again with Iron Seagull. How's it going?
Yep, it's me once again. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to have you here on another discussion video. Now, we've covered University quite a bit. We have 2 full parts of it. If you guys have not seen those videos, click on my channel and check them out. We have 2 full parts of University discussion. By the time this goes up, both of the University ones should be up, of course. But now we're talking about another highly requested feature for The Sims 4. Now, whether it's added in an expansion pack, a stuff pack, or through some type of overhaul update, we feel like cars and other transportation devices could really be added to this game to help improve the overall gameplay experience. What is your overall thoughts on having cars and transportation in the game?
I don't know if you can hear it, but right now I'm like rubbing my hand so fast I could practically start a fire.
Me too. Oh, this is gonna be a good one.
I'm very, very passionate about wanting cars in the game. It's good that I'm here to talk about this. Yeah, this is something I've thought extensively about over the past few years, pretty much since the game first came out, and it's pretty much my most wanted feature overall in terms of free updates, I guess, because I really do think that cars should be added for free with like some of the basic types of cars, and then you can add other types of cars and transportation options in paid DLC wherever it makes sense, like boats in a tropical expansion pack.
Yes, I agree.
Or hot air balloons in some sort of, I don't even know what, but some kind of pack.
Oh god, let's not even go there with hot air balloons again. The atrocity from The Sims 3 of going 10 feet off the ground and that was all you got. I definitely prefer having, something with more gameplay over having something that looks more aesthetically pleasing. Like the gameplay really didn't change with the ball pit. It was just kind of the texture of it, and yeah, it looked kind of sad, but I would rather have going higher in a hot air balloon. I'd rather have that over a better looking ball pit,
Yeah, and it is kind of interesting. I guess it even ties into just like the whole reason why we want cars too. I kid you not, I literally have a text document with a rebuttal for every time someone tells me, oh, cars are pointless because no open world. Like I've mentioned that I've been wanting cars for years, so like I've gotten so tired of typing out the same reasons over and over again that I just have like a basic thing to like copy and paste and then change depending on the context of the conversation, because I'm so tired of making the same argument over and over again. I would say that with the whole functionality thing, even though, yeah, the cars were in The Sims 3 and had an open world, I think the cars were better in The Sims 2 because there was more you could do with them.
I agree, 100%. Even though, like with The Sims 2, we all know there were loading screens. Now, this is gonna bring in the argument, can you have cars in a game with loading screens? And yes, you can.
Yeah, like The Sims 2 had cars, and I think they were pretty good. I would say that was the biggest selling point for the Nightlife expansion pack for me, just that we got cars. The reason why we should have cars in The Sims 4, it's mainly for storytelling and a bit of building as well. With cars, they are a big part of our lives, whether it's getting your first car or learning how to drive or having cars that really show off your Sim's personality, because I love it when we have things like the umbrellas in Seasons, for example, where you can choose the design of your umbrella to really bring out your Sims personality. Like you can have a beat 'em up car like the Smoogoo from The Sims 2 for your really poor Sims that like rattles around as it drives, and then you could have like the regular like sedans and the vans for like your families, and then you can have like for your like single rich Sim like Tony Stark have like a really fancy Bugatti or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And even like with other vehicles, we'll get more into them later, I guess, but ones like motorcycles and scooters for like your more rebellious Sims. So yeah, personality wise, I think cars still matter quite a lot. It is also like something to show off like your accomplishment, like how you would work in The Sims 1 to get that house on the hill, like a mansion, and then you'd have things like a big pool, and well, we didn't have cars in The Sims 1, but cars would still be used as like one of those things to show that your Sims really accomplished something. And then for the building aspect, I'm so sick of seeing those sized up toy cars in fake driveways that don't function. And then we can have real garages too, not like those fake garage doors from City Living, but ones that actually open, and we can have real garages. And I think that would mean a lot to builders too, even if they don't really play live mode a whole lot. That would be something fun for them to play around with too.
that is so important to the game because the game is all about telling stories, you know, and your Sims having a personality, and you need that car, that special car that's tailored just for them to really show off their personality. And this perfectly segues into a point that I have on my list that I really want to talk about. I don't just want fixer-upper cars in The Sims 4. I want the fixer-upper cars to be integrated in with any car that you have in the game, meaning that you can upgrade it, you can choose the body, you can upgrade the engine, the sound of the horn, interior and exterior lighting, custom seats, tires, rims, suspension system, sound system, any type of paint and custom paint. Like, you can literally take your Sim's personality or whatever story that you're trying to tell with their life or their family and put it into the vehicle that they're driving. Yes, there's loading screens around, and you know, if you want to go to work, you have to hit a loading screen, but just having that piece of them, that part of them sitting in a driveway in front of their house literally changes the entire game for me, and I cannot say that enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I had like all of those same points listed, especially like with the car customization, where you could customize it maybe even more so than The Sims 3, because yeah, it was cool. You could use create a style and have like a car that is just flames all over it. But yeah, maybe you could like customize the interior, the tires, the horns, and that sort of stuff. And actually, one other point in defense of cars I forgot to say earlier is that it also helps with the suspension of disbelief, because right now Sims just walk off into like a loading screen. If you're just going to your neighbor's house, it makes sense, but say if you're going from like Strangerville to Granite Falls, like your Sim is not walking all the way there. That's just not possible. There's no way. They're not Sonic the Hedgehog. They're not just gonna run super fast all the way there.
Well, maybe they are, Julian. Maybe they are. You never know.
They're
but
secretly all meta-humans. Oh boy.
You have such a great point with that, though. Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's like, oh, like your Sim is taking the car to Granite Falls on like a road trip or something on the way there. So at least you have that believability. You could even say, like, I know a few people have brought up the point of like, oh, maybe the Sims are taking public transportation off screen, which maybe they could, but what if you have a rich, snooty Sim? That doesn't make sense for them.
Right, exactly. Yes, your Sim, your rich Sim is leaving the Pinnacles and they hop into a $1.25 bus. Like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
They're gonna hop in their Mercedes or their fancy sport car and go drive somewhere. So it's just, you know, that kind of goes back to the whole like personality thing, and it just kind of goes along with, you know, your Sim.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so much behind it, especially like with the storytelling aspect, where it still makes a lot of sense to have cars in the game. And it also makes it even weirder, like say if like we never got cars that were ownable in The Sims 4, it'd be even weirder now, because with the more recent worlds, they're putting cars everywhere. And I know they keep saying like, oh, it's not a hint, we want to make more believable worlds that feel lived in, but it's still like, if we just never got cars that we could drive, that would make it stand out even more that we can't have them.
Exactly. And now to kind of elaborate on what I said earlier with having like fixer-upper cars, you know, you can build your car to match your Sim and match their personality, but I feel like they should take it a step farther from that too. And once your car has been upgraded and once it fits your Sim, I feel like now you need to be able to maintain that car. I feel like having upgrades and a whole maintenance system would be nice to have too. For example, oil changes, tire rotations, natural wear and tear. You know, your Sim goes to work, comes home, you get a notification your Sim got into a minor fender bender, and then, you know, the fender's hanging off and you have to have it repaired or something. There could be a whole new like mechanical system, or you could send the car off to like a mechanic and it disappears from the lot for a few Sim days. Stuff like that would be really nice.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that could be maybe the biggest thing that they haven't done with cars entirely before. That could really be something new for The Sims 4 and make them even more interesting than in the past. And one other thing I want to add to that is also like having the cars get dirty after maybe like a Sim week or two, and then you can wash the cars with the hose, and you could maybe even you could even have a funnier angle where it's like, you know, like the Carly Rae Jepsen video where she's like trying to impress that guy and she's trying to look like kind of seductive while doing it. You could have that sort of story too, where you're trying to impress the neighbors as you're washing the cars too. If you're romantically involved with them, like I think that would be good.
Yeah, I don't know how I did not even think of that. And the cars just add more, family fun activities. And you can do it together. You know how you can decorate the Christmas tree together and set up lights and open presents together? That could totally be, an interaction. Wash the car with, and then you click a multiple amount of Sims, and they all do their own thing. One has the bucket and the sponge, the other one has the hose, and one is just kind of goofing off like you said. That would be so freaking cool.
And I just thought of this right now. Like, you could have children be able to do this too, and maybe it could even be a sort of chore for them. I guess this would even be going to a new idea, like a chore system where they could get, actually, I don't know if it makes as much sense because the Sims 4 doesn't really have individual funds, but maybe even for a future Sims game where, kids can earn a little bit of money from their parents by doing chores, with one of those being washing the car.
Oh yeah, that's good. A whole chore system. If that's ever introduced, that would definitely fit very well into that. Because, we already have laundry, and you can make the kids do laundry, but you can't bribe them.
Yeah.
It would be nice to be able to bribe them to do, stuff like that, as well as like wash the car and, sweep or whatever they're doing, cleaning up the cat hair, all that. That would be really cool.
I hope at one point we will get the burglars back, because it was actually kind of funny. You could even have a car as your first line of defense against them, because if the burglar got close enough to the car on the way to the house, the alarm would be set off and the police would catch them before they even got into the house, which was really handy. And also just another funny point is that if burglars are brought back and they steal cars, I think instead of them doing the whole swipe animation, putting them into their inventory, I think they should laugh maniacally as they get into the car and drive off with it. Like, The Sims is cartoony. Just go full on with that.
Yeah. Oh my god, they could definitely do that. That would be hilarious. And I can kind of like elaborate on what you said about the car alarms too. I did have that on my list. That was one of the first things that I thought of, but not just, burglars being involved with it. I feel like car alarms could integrate very well with seasons. When there's a severe thunderstorm, the car could shake, the alarm would go off, it would scare your Sims, they would get a tense mood lit. It could integrate so well.
I didn't even think about that. Like, the one integration I thought of with seasons was shoveling the driveway if there was, we don't have like deep snow, but it could still happen maybe where there's too much snow on the driveway. Because you can already shovel snow, so why not just shovel the driveway too?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. See, I have things on my list that you don't have, and you have things on your list that I don't have. It's fair.
I do have like a list of pack integration stuff. I guess we could talk more in detail later, but yeah, since you mentioned that one, I was like, yeah, sure, we could also shovel the driveway and have like, the car react to the storms and have that inconvenience of the car alarm going off in the middle of the night in the middle of a thunderstorm and waking your Sims up. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
This could honestly be an expansion. It could possibly be.
Yeah, they could make like an on-the-road game pack. I even remember that being like in one of those leaked surveys like years ago. Yeah, also in terms of just like the basic functionality of the car, I think they could have a lot of the same systems that they have in place, like with both the couch and the pools, where there's just so many of the same interactions available, like just sitting and talking, eating food, telling jokes, and of course, woohoo. I feel like that's a big reason, a big selling point for people, just having another woohoo spot that's already like almost reason enough on its own to have like the car windows fog up and jump into the air and all that stuff.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Yeah, that was absolutely classic in The Sims 2.
We do need more, woohoo locations, and with University, I can see them adding shower woohoo. That would kind of make sense. And if they, added cars, whether it's with an expansion game pack or some sort of free update, we have to have car woohoo.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta have that car woohoo. One other thing that I thought of was that in addition to like all the normal couch interactions from The Sims 4, our Sims could also sleep in the car. It would not be as good for energy as beds, but I put that there because you could tell the story of a Sim that's really like, they're so poor that they're literally living in their car all the time.
Wow, I did not think of that.
Yeah, and then you can also use the cars to drive your sim to work, and then you could also use them to drive your kids to school. That was like another basic point that I had in there that we could do like in The Sims 2.
In The Sims 3, I don't think you could drive your child to school. You could just use it for work. You couldn't take your kids to school. They had to get on the bus or walk or bike, but I don't think you could drive your kids to school, could you?
I guess you could kind of force it in a way. If you click near the school and you were like, go here with, and then you just did that with your kid and they automatically took the car there, but it wasn't like as like The Sims 2 where you just click on the car to do that. I guess it was just like more convenient in The Sims 2 than it was in The Sims 3 for that kind of interaction.
Right, that makes sense.
And I guess one point that we should talk about is how we imagine the cars working, since we don't have the open world, but we do have something that is a little more open than The Sims 2.
Yeah, and if it worked fine in The Sims 2, we know with the completely closed world, we now have open neighborhoods, so there's no way it could work any worse. If anything, it'd work a lot better.
Yeah, because my vision of how cars would work functionally in The Sims 4 is that they would be very similar to The Sims 2, where you would see your Sims walk up to the car, they'd actually open the doors, unlike in The Sims 3.
Yes.
They close the doors, they get in, and they would start to back out of the driveway object, because I imagine no matter what neighborhood you're in, you could still place a driveway object like you could in The Sims 3, but as your sim is starting to back out of the driveway object, you would fade into the loading screen, so you don't need to worry whether your house is connected to a road or not. It would still work. And I think that might have actually been how it worked in The Sims 2. Apparently, like according to the Sims Wiki, if you did use move objects to place a driveway in The Sims 2, that's what it would do. So yeah, hopefully then they could do that again if that was the case. So yeah, they could still have the functionality of The Sims 2, just wouldn't be on the road, I guess. I mean, maybe they could do it. It would probably take a whole lot of work to have like the cars detect whether there is a road in the neighborhood or not and actually drive on the roads. I'm not fully expecting that.
That's another thing that I was thinking about. Like, you know, they would basically, I guess, have to update each lot of each existing world so that, you know, if you place like a driveway, then I guess the land or terrain would have to manipulate itself to kind of, you know, fit that so it looked natural. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. They need to have some sort of programming for each and every lot and have it flagged as, does it have a connected road or not? And then, like you said, they'd have to manipulate the terrain so that the car does properly like back out onto the road if they actually did go that extra mile. I didn't mean to make a pun, but yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize you did that just until after you mentioned the pun.
I did not mean to. That was like right in the middle of me saying it. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I mean, I know I have a thing to make puns, but that was honestly an accident.
I wouldn't have even noticed if I would have said it. That's funny. But yeah, makes a lot of sense. That was definitely one concern that I had for the longest time. But like you were saying earlier, I definitely see a lot of the resemblance to cars being more of The Sims 2 instead of The Sims 3. You know, without an open world, cars would be seen pulling in and out of the driveways, pre and post loading screen, just like in The Sims 2. Makes sense. You know, having like the customizable driveways and garages, and there's different doors to choose from. That aspect also being in the game as well. Also, NPC vehicles, we need to see those too. I mean, if this is an expansion pack, they could totally go all out for this. I mean, we need the taxis back, the carpools, school buses, ambulances, fire trucks, UFOs for our loved aliens that came with Get to Work. That way we can have a little integration with that pack as well. Military truck or helicopter for the new military career branch to integrate with the Strangerville pack that we actually just received. So that could all work very well. Also, police cars too, Julian.
Yeah, I did have police cars on there. I was thinking about burglars and also firefighters with their fire engines and such. And oh my gosh, helicopters. I can't believe I forgot to put them on my list because I do want helicopters back because we did have them in The Sims 2, and you could even have your own if you had like the apartment life expansion. You could just like fly up into the air. And it was just like another thing where it's like, okay, you don't see your helicopter flying all the way to the lot, but it's still like a cool thing for your rich Sims to have. And like they could have like your own helipad and such. Just like, I don't know, it's just really cool. Actually, with the carpools, there was one idea that I had. Okay, let's say, for example, you have a few Sims that you all play as that are in the business career. So what if, with the carpools, the game was able to know that you had like Sims in the same career? They could carpool together, and also it would like give a little moodlet because you're kind of helping save the environment a little bit by taking the carpool. So it feels like you're having more of an impact, whether it's just like, okay, carpool's here, time to go to work, but it's also like, oh, you're actually going there with your co-workers and you're having an impact on the environment a little bit. So.
And you get yourself a cute little moodlet in the process as well, and it helps boost your mood.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, same with the taxis. I mean, maybe like you can still like hit the M key if you want to, but I think I'd still like to have the option, like the older games, where you can click on the phone to call a taxi and you have the taxi show up a few sim minutes later, and then your sim gets into the taxi and they drive off. Not every world has connected roads, but still, it'd be an interesting idea, I think, just for that realistic touch, and the school buses. Oh yeah, and a couple of other ideas that I had with the vehicles is that with Get Famous, if your sim is really high up in the acting career, it would be interesting if a limousine would show up and be like the carpool for that.
Oh, we had limousines in The Sims 3, that's right.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about this the other day because I was starting the acting career with one of my newest sims, and I did see at Plum Bob Pictures that there were limos parked there, so I was thinking, oh yeah, what if you could tell the story that a limo actually did pick up your sim? So that would be kind of interesting too, I think.
I also would like to see some of the service vehicles back as well. For example, when you hire a maid or a repairman, they have their own vehicles that they come and either park, you know, parallel right on your street, or they pull into your driveway, whatever's available to them. There's, you know, the gardener's truck, repairman's truck, the maid's minivan, that's what I call it. I don't know if it's actually called that or anything, but also food delivery too would be nice, like having pizza delivery or Chinese delivery, Mexican delivery, etc. Having all that come to your house and they actually drive their own vehicle. It makes a lot more sense instead of them just appearing on your lot out of thin air. Like, no, this is not Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly. And I just thought this, like with the base game worlds, I think all of them do have connected roads to the neighborhood, so it's mostly like with the expansion worlds that they have to worry about like whether there's a road or not. So yeah, it would be good if you could have the delivery service actually come in their vehicles too and not just have the sim appear out of thin air. So yeah, that would be really cool. Starting with garages, I was thinking it could be kind of neat for when you upload to the gallery, like, you know, you can list like how many bedrooms and bathrooms there are. Like, you should be able to list whether there's a garage included or not, because especially assuming like cars would come back in a free update, then it's easier to see like, oh, what houses are actually made with garages in mind and download those, so you can have like, oh, okay, does this house have a garage, and maybe even be able to list like how many cars you can accommodate, because yeah, maybe you'll have like a mansion that can fit 5 cars in there, or you'll just have like a suburban house that just fits 2. So I think that would just be a neat sort of like extra idea for the gallery, just to make things a bit more user friendly. I actually thought of 2 new careers that I think could really help justify bringing back cars. One of them is an active career, and one of them is a rabbit hole one. So the active career would be a car mechanic. You could work at a garage and you'd have all these different cars each day to work on. There could be some emergency situations where the sim comes in and like they really need to get to work soon and their car is broken or they have a flat tire or something. So then you have like more urgent tasks that need more immediate care and that sort of thing. So yeah, like the more I think about it, you really could make an active career, a fully active one, out of a car mechanic.
Oh yeah, for sure. You got me so excited and so pumped.
Yeah, that could honestly be such a fun active career. It might even end up becoming my favorite one, even though I'm very biased towards cars. But yeah, I think that could be pretty cool. And then the rabbit hole one that I thought of, this is actually inspired by Kawaii Stacy's Explore mod, because she did update it so that your Sims could basically be an Uber driver.
Oh, that's right, with the new update, yeah.
Yeah, so you could just have your Sim just go off into a rabbit hole. Maybe you could even have it be like a temporary job if you want to, just a one-time thing, or you can have it be like a more consistent sort of thing where you are working as an Uber driver every day. So I think that one would make more sense as a rabbit hole, but yeah, I think that would be a neat sort of realistic, modern, up-to-date sort of thing that's inspired by our culture in real life. So I think that would be a really sort of interesting thing to put in The Sims 4 that really kind of makes it stand out in comparison to the previous games.
And kind of going back to what you said about careers, now I kind of had another idea for an active active career. Now, here's the thing. I guess it could be an active career depending on how you look at it. I said earlier that I did not want like, you know, a specific car for being like a fixer-upper car like we had in The Sims 3, and then like other cars that you can buy and drive. I want them to kind of be merged together, you know, and that kind of brings the whole mechanic thing in. So you can kind of get any car fixed, not just a specific one that you have to buy from Build Buy. So, you know, I want fixer-uppers to be integrated into every car via Build Buy or car dealership, which moves me to my next point. I want to be able to actually create your own car dealership to run and sell your own cars, or now if you don't want to run and sell your own cars, you can go there to buy your own car and there's an NPC dealer, if that makes any sense. I feel like that would be so fun. You could create lots and place parking spaces and kind of set them up along, you know, a grid. You can go outside, click on them, view, check deals, discuss all types of things with the car salesman. I feel like that would be so fun and interactive, and now I feel like I'm reaching and I'm asking for too much. Let me dream, please. Let me dream.
We actually could have car dealerships in The Sims 2 if you had both nightlife and open for business. There was that extra like podium object that unlocked, you know, like those big circular platforms, and the car would like rotate around on it. Yeah, I would love to just see that back, where you can run your own dealership and it could integrate with Get to Work. So yeah, I absolutely would love to see a car dealership as a new business type in the game.
You could really make the gameplay more personal that way too. You have your own car dealership, you choose what kind of cars you sell. It could be a dealership with junk used cars or expensive high-end cars, like Julian said, UFOs or whatever you want. If it's in the game, you can sell it and you can have your own business. You can customize the inside of the dealership, the outside, and you know, it wouldn't like require any sort of special world because it would just literally take place on a lot, and it could have its own lot type. So you could literally make it any lot size on any world.
Exactly, yeah.
Very cohesive. It kind of fits with everything we already have in the game, and that's why I really wanted to include that in my list. Also, sitting in the car, relaxing, turning on the lights to just hang out and relax. This could be done by adults, teens with or without a license, or even kids. I know we kind of brushed on that a little bit earlier, but instead of focusing on, you know, the moving car and driving places, using it as a place for, you know, relaxing and leisure. I know you talked about it earlier, but I feel like we could like elaborate on that a little more, or hope that when they add it in that it has more of those types of features.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, in The Sims 2 and like the fixer-upper car in The Sims 3 with Roaring Heights, yeah, you did have the options of like just having the lights on and the stereo and all that stuff. And actually, one other like new idea that I thought that relates to that is for the toddlers, when you're bringing them in the car, have the baby seats.
I had water in my mouth, so I couldn't scream. No, I'm being serious. I had water in my mouth, so I could not scream, but that is literally what I put on my list. Like,
oh, wow.
That is exactly what I had in mind. Great minds think alike. That is very true. I put on my list, must purchase a car seat and have it either in your Sims inventory or somewhere on your household in order to drive anywhere with a toddler sim. And if you don't have it, then the option to take your child anywhere goes away. And I feel like that's good to have in the game because it kind of teaches a lesson for real life. If you don't have a car seat, don't bring your child with you. I feel like that should be in the game.
Yeah, and you actually just remind me of one other idea that I completely forgot, is that with the trunks, we could maybe have that kind of like what we were talking about with backpacks in university, also have like the trunk be a functional inventory. Yeah.
I forgot about the trunks. I'm getting so excited.
Yeah, so you can just like, if you're going to like, say if we get a beach world, you can take like a towel or whatever with you to the beach or the pool rafts or whatever. So yeah, I think that would be more fun than just shoving it into your Sims personal inventory. That would be really cool, I think.
Yeah, let's put some towels and lawn chairs in our back pocket, why don't we? I can't believe I didn't think of that. The trunk can be totally useful. Just like with the engine, you know, you lift up the hood, you fix what you need to do, work on it, whatever. The trunk, I don't know how I didn't think of the trunk. That is perfect. Yeah. And when you move houses, like if you move to another house, you could have them do an interaction where they're placing boxes in their trunk.
Yeah, exactly.
just
I
not
was thinking
thought
about that
that.
and when we were talking about university too, like that's similar sort of thing. Where it's like you're going to university and you pack furniture and stuff. Yes. And I guess one other thing we didn't really get to talk about that also is like another function is that like with driving lessons, like that should be a thing for teenagers. Even though we don't have the open world, we can still have it be a rabbit hole and they can build a driving skill that maybe goes up to like, I don't know if it should even go to 5. It'd be like a very short skill, and then once it's maxed out, then your sim can drive without supervision or needing to do any more classes. But yeah, like you could have a teenager take driving lessons, and you could either have your parent teach you for free, or you can hire a tutor to teach you how to drive, and then they would just like be in the rabbit hole, and then you'd have chance cards come up, kind of like what we have like with the school and parenthood, where it's like, oh, your child cheated on a test or whatever, but they can have certain things where you do a chance card and you can avoid accidents or stuff like that. So it can increase or decrease your Sim's driving skill depending on what you choose. So you still have a lot of interactive stuff even without the open world. So yeah, I think it would be really good to have driving lessons, even if they're rabbit holes. It still adds a lot more realism, even though most of the time I am against rabbit holes, but I think they would work really well in this case.
Yeah, I think so too. You were kind of talking about like those interactive pop-ups, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have that on my list too, and I was just getting ready to say that, like, even if your Sim isn't really experienced at driving and their driving skill is low, then the pop-ups that come up, they have a higher chance of either picking the wrong choice or, you know, just doing the wrong choice naturally and not having like a positive choice. But I definitely put, you know, interactive pop-ups while driving, similar to how interactions were introduced with the Parenthood game pack. So like some could improve certain things like responsibility or whatnot.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I could integrate with Parenthood and the character value system where, yeah, it can build up responsibility or
being reckless, you know, a reckless driver.
Yeah.
Road rage.
If you choose one of those choices that does make your Sim like angry and just act out in road rage, then yeah, it can make them lose some emotional control. So yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
One point that I had was that, yeah, you could have parking spots that you could place just like in The Sims 3, so that when your Sim goes to that venue, then they will have like the car parked there, so it's not just vanishing into thin air. It would do that if you don't have any parking spots at the place that you're going to, but
oh yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, I want to have the option to give cars as gifts for milestones in life. For example, college graduation when we get university, high school graduation when we get that, good grades, birthday, etc. Just have the option to be able to purchase a car or take whoever you want to take to the car dealership to buy them a car, and you know, they get like a special moodlet for it. So it's just like, you know, something in honor of something they've achieved within their life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it definitely ties into what we were talking about, like how cars are very justified to still have in The Sims 4 because mainly of the storytelling aspect and getting your first car and all that stuff. So yeah, you should definitely be able to have cars be part of the gifting system.
Yes, because I like the way that the gifting system works. I love that. My last point on my list, this is the last thing I have, and I didn't know when to slip it in, but I think this is a good time. We actually didn't talk about any integration between cats and dogs in cars. How would that work?
When my Sim was taking their cat with them in the car, and the cat was like in the driver's seat, and their paws were like on the windshield, I think. I have to play The Sims 2 again to see what it looked like, but it was kind of funny. In The Sims 2, they could have their own careers, and they would jump into the carpools as well.
Oh, so. Now I remember. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did not remember that.
Oh, I just thought of something so random, but if they were able to pull this off, it'd be hilarious. Like having dogs chase after the cars, and if they were able to be successful, even rip off the like the rear bumper.
Oh my gosh, just take the license plate off.
Yeah, I highly doubt they would ever do this, but I don't know. I just thought that would be a funny idea to bring up.
That is funny. Also, the mailman or mailwoman could be chased by the dogs, you know?
Oh yeah, they could do that in The Sims 2, I think.
No, stop. Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure they did, yeah.
Oh, wow. Alrighty, you guys. We have reached every point in our list. Now, I can bet you there are a million things that we forgot to list list. And if you can think of anything, even one, leave it down in the comment section below. We want to hear from you. What do you think could be included in any type of cars or transportation pack or free update that we did not list today? And if there's any features that we listed today that you either agree or disagree on, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below with any comments or questions that you have. I love all of you so very much, and before you do anything, subscribe to Iron Seagull right now. Let's get him to 25,000 subscribers, and by the end of the year, let's hope that we can get him to 50,000 subscribers because he works hard and he really deserves it, I will say that. So click the link right now that's pinned in the comment section below to subscribe to him, and give this video a huge thumbs up and add it to your favorites. Subscribe to become a Pixelader, and ding the little bell next to it to receive notifications for any type of future upload. Don't forget, you can follow me on social media. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Google+, Twitch, and more. Links to all of those will be found down below. I love you all so very much. Thanks for watching. And of course, once again, thank you, Iron Seagull, for joining me on this wonderful discussion. And we cannot wait to have a part 2 because we all know there's going to end up being a part 2.
Yeah, it's been fun doing all these discussion videos with you so far, so thank you for having me on once again, and really looking forward to seeing what we end up doing next, because this is really exciting stuff, and I'm really glad that it's been so well received so far. It's really awesome.
It's very well received, and honestly, you're welcome. I'm so happy to do these with you, and it makes doing these types of videos so fun, how we can, you know, put our minds together and brainstorm together and literally pull the best out of each other. Like, I pull some ideas out of you, you pull ideas out of me, and we kind of just like smash them together and kind of come up with this whole cloud of, you know, what kind of pack we want to see, even though most of the stuff we're saying probably won't ever be in the game, but you know, it's worth a shot. So I'm just happy to be making these with you, but I hope all of you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in our next video. Bye guys.
Bye.